I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier, and before I get started with the no half step in hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show, and once you're fully educated on the Renegades of Puck, you can click on that merchandise tab. There you'll find the classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, 4 or 5 other different t-shirts in our online store. But we also have all the classic gimmicks you've come to know and love from the Renegades of Puck. Wall art, throw pillows. It makes no difference to us. We've made it possible for you to outfit your entire home and your entire body with Renegades of Puck merchandise. Simply said, we've sold out, so you can buy in. You can help us out on social media, and that is of critical importance to this operation right here. Please go to any of our social media platforms, whether that's TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscription, leave a comment. It goes a long way to helping us out. It doesn't take you but a second. It doesn't cost you anything, but it sure does help this operation out a lot. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're getting closer to 200 subscriptions now, and we sure do appreciate each and every one of you. And then the podcast is available in audio form on a myriad of different platforms. We are on Google, we are on Spotify, we are on Stitcher, and several others. The Renegades of Puck can be found everywhere. Just search Renegades of Puck. Stick taps, love, respect to each and every one of you for helping us out in supporting all of those endeavors. Venmo is how you can become a sponsor or partner of the Renegades of Puck. Thanks to generous donations by Renegades just like you, we've been able to upgrade all of our equipment here in the bunker. Our microphone, our camera, our light system, everything here in the bunker has been upgraded, and it has made a significant and dramatic improvement to the show. Thank you so much. Again, stick taps, love, and respect to each and every one of you. All you have to do, just search Renegades of Puck or scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Now, it's time for me to deliver the no half step in hockey coverage, so let's deliver the goods. It's operation number 681 for the Renegades of Puck. That's right, show number 681. Over 11 plus years now of covering the Nashville Predators and hockey from the bunker. And on this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division. 21 games played on the season. They have a record of 10-9-2. 22 points has them in the middle of the pack in the Central Division. They are even with the team above them, and they are even with the team below them. The team just above them in 4th place is the Minnesota Wild. The team above them is the Colorado Avalanche. They are in 3rd place in the Central Division. They have 25 points. The Preds are 7 points behind the 2nd place Winnipeg Jets and 8 points behind the 1st place Dallas Stars. Taking a look down towards the cellar of the Central Division, the St. Louis Blues are the team just below the Nashville Predators, again tied in points at 22. And then at 17 points, you'll find the Arizona Coyotes 5 points behind the Preds, and the Blackhawks are in 8th and last place in the Central Division, 6 points currently behind the Nashville Predators. Good to see the Nashville Predators back on the ice after 2 games had to be postponed due to a water main break. Incredible job by the crew over at Bridgestone Arena to have everything up and ready for a game that we're going to recap here momentarily. The Nashville Predators on the road this season have a record of 3-6-0. They've scored 55 goals. They've given up 66. They have a goal differential of -11, and their next game will take place on the road in the Eastern Conference in this interconference matchup against the New Jersey Devils. The Devils are 19-4 on the season. They have 38 points. They are 1st in the Metro Division. They are tied for the most points in the NHL. 9-3 is their home record. They have a goal differential of +36, and all of their statistical metrics are trending towards the top of the NHL. Let's take a look at their most recent stretch of play, their last 5 games. The 21st of November saw a 5-2 victory versus the Edmonton Oilers, a 2-1 loss on the 23rd versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then victories 3-1 at Buffalo, 5-1 versus Washington, and most recently 5-3 versus the New York Rangers. Vanacek 35 of 38 in that game, getting the victory in net for the New Jersey Devils. Now, this is one of 2 times these 2 teams will meet this season. January the 26th is when the Nashville Predators will welcome the New Jersey Devils to Bridgestone Arena here in Nashville. For the Nashville Predators, this is just the beginning of a 3-game road trip back-to-back in the Northeast. So Thursday night in New Jersey, Friday in New York to face off against the Islanders out there on Long Island. And then they have quite a break, not on the ice again until the following Thursday at Tampa Bay. With everything that's gone on the last couple of days, I know the Preds are coming off a 6-day layoff because of a water main break, but the Nashville Predators could probably use a break from some of the stress that they've just undergone. So next Thursday, the Preds will be in Tampa Bay, back home on December the 10th versus the Ottawa Senators. December the 12th at the St. Louis Blues, December the 13th versus the Edmonton Oilers. So back-to-backs are about to become a critical point of the Nashville Predators' schedule moving forward. For the Preds, only one injury to report at this time. Borowiecki still on injured reserve, no time frame or timetable on his potential return. Taking a look inside the matchups between these two teams, and again, this is a team at the bottom third of the NHL in almost every metric, and a team in the top third in almost every NHL metric. So let's go through them. The Devils, 3.78 goals for per game, is third best in the NHL, while the Preds, 2.52 goals per game, is 29th overall out of 32 clubs in the NHL. In the goals against category, New Jersey is second overall in the league, giving up only 2.22 per game, while the Predators are giving up 3.10 per game. That is 14th overall in the league. Shots for the Preds are 18th, generating 30.5 on net per game, while New Jersey is second in the league, generating 36.4 shots on goal per game. In the shots against category, New Jersey is also second, while the Nashville Predators are 19th. When it comes to the power play, this is one place where the two teams are seemingly very even. The New Jersey Devils have the 25th rated power play in the NHL, converting 19.4% of the time, or 14 out of 72 opportunities, while the Nashville Predators are 27th overall in the NHL, converting 16.3% of the time, or 13 out of 80 opportunities. On the penalty kill, the Devils are ahead in this metric, 9th overall in the league. They've given up 12 power play goals against, killing off 81.8%. The Preds are 12th in the NHL in penalty killing, 14 power play goals against. They've killed off 80.6% of their penalty kills. Now, individual stats, and high-skilled individuals at that. When it comes to this New Jersey Devils team, it's highly impressive to see the young core that they have built this team around and how they are all performing at an elite level at this time. Hughes, 12 goals, 14 assists, 26 points, leads the New Jersey Devils. Bratt at 8 and 18, also with 26 points, tied for the team lead with Hughes. Hischier at 10 goals and 15 assists for 25 points on the season. Hamilton, 6 and 10 for 16, and Thomas Tatar, 6 goals and 9 assists for 15 points on the season. Vanacek, 11 and 2 on the year in net, a .923 save percentage, a 2.12 goals against average. Highly impressive individual statistics for the New Jersey Devils. As a matter of fact, their top 3 scorers would all lead the Nashville Predators in scoring. Let's take a look at the Nashville Predators individual statistics. Philip Forsberg still leads the team in scoring, 7 goals and 12 assists for 19 points. Matt Duchene's at 5 goals and 12 assists for 17 points. The captain, Roman Josi, is now at 5 and 12 for 17. Mikhail Granlund, 2 and 14 for 16. And Nino Niederreiter still leads the team in goals scored with 9. Add 2 assists to that, he's got 11 points on the year. UC Saros' numbers continue to look good and continue improving. 8-6 and 2 now is his record on the season, a save percentage of .910, goals against average of 2.92. Those are certainly dramatically improved numbers from what we saw just a month ago for UC Saros at the end of October, turning things around considerably now towards the end of the month of November. That gets everything all set up for the next game with the Nashville Predators in New Jersey to take on the Devils. This is going to be a very tough hill to climb. The Devils are red hot, and right now, this is not a great matchup for the Nashville Predators, who are struggling offensively. They are going to have to play their best game overall and make 0 mistakes if they hope to get any points out of this game in New Jersey. And then they have to follow that up with another trip out to the Islanders, and that is not an easy game as well. We'll be back to recap everything that happened between the Nashville Predators and the Anaheim Ducks, closing out the 3-game homestand. Of course, 2 of those games had to be postponed because of a water main break, but they were able to get the final game of the homestand in. It was great to see everybody back at the rink tonight. We'll have the full recap of that coming up here in a matter of moments. It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. I urge every one of you, check out their work online, rebirthsports.com, or find them on social media. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're also on Twitter. Rebirth Sports are not just jersey makers, they are hockey tailors. They can take your visions and make them a reality, just like they've done for the Renegades of Puck. You see me wearing the 3rd jersey in the bunker this evening. I wear the home jersey, I wear the road jersey. That's right, the Renegades of Puck have 3 jerseys from Rebirth Sports, and every one of them is top shelf, a classic, and we love every single one of them. No matter where I go, no matter where I skate, I'm always wearing Rebirth Sports threads, and you can do the same. Check them out, rebirthsports.com. Now let's go back and check out the Rebirth Sports full game recap all the way back to 11/29 of the year 2022 when the Nashville Predators were welcoming in the Anaheim Ducks. John Hines shuffles things up again due to players coming back in the lineup and also his normal rotation. Your lines are as follows. Forsberg, Parson, and Granlund make up your first line. Jeannot, Sissons, and Duchene make up your second line. Cole Smith, Johansson, and Niederreiter make up your third line. Trennan, Glass, and Jankowski make up your fourth line. Your defensive defensive pairings are McDonough and Yossi, Ekholm and Carrier, Luzon and Fabro. UC Saros gets the start on home ice in net. Only 27 seconds into the first period, UC Saros coming up with a save on Vetrano from the low slot. First shot on goal of the game at 3:39 of the first period. Saros comes up with a save on Zegras, plus the follow-up by White. 5:39. Gibson comes with a save on Niederreiter through traffic. 6:08. Gibson a save on Trennan. Good to see Trennan back there out on the ice in the lineup. 7:02. Kulikov off to the box. 2 minutes 4. High sticking on Roman Yossi. Gibson would come up with a save on Forsberg. And my second note is simply this: it's not good enough against the worst penalty kill in the league. Anaheim had the 32nd rated penalty kill coming into this game, and the Nashville Predators simply only getting one scoring chance is not good enough in 2 minutes of power play time. 10:07 of the first period, Gibson comes with a save on Parson. 10:21, Saros comes up with a save on Jones's breakaway. Preds and the Ducks trading chances here at the midpoint of the first period. 14:54, Gibson comes with a save on Johansson, who was driving the net hard. Cole Smith was following the play and bringing the jam. At 18:57, Gibson's got a wraparound attempt, and he is stopping that attempt by Duchesne. He's kicking it out, and this was a great save by Gibson. Really dialed in here in this first period. Nashville Predators outshoot Anaheim 14-7. We're 45 seconds into the second period, and Gibson's coming up with a save on Yossi. Nashville Predators already back to work on the clean sheet. 3:07 into the second period, Gibson comes with a save on Glass. 3:49, Strome's off to the box. 2 minutes for tripping on Granlund, and there's absolutely nothing happening on this power play for the Nashville Predators. It looked really bad out there. The Preds unable to gain much zone time, unable to get much play towards the net, and really unable to do anything. 6:33 of the second period, Gibson comes up with a save on Trennan. 7:16, Saros comes up with a save on Zegras on the 2-on-0 breakaway. The Nashville Predators survived this moment, bailed out by UC Saros. 9:03 of the second, Gibson comes with a save on Johansson at close range, and at 10:04, right at the midpoint of the game, it's Sisson's second goal of the season, giving the Nashville Predators a 1-0 lead over the Anaheim Ducks. It was a redirect at the top of the crease that goes 5-hole, just slides under the pad. It was a perfect setup by Matt Duchesne across the top of the crease. Great to see Colton Sissons fighting hard and battling for positions, going to the hard area, and absolutely getting rewarded in this situation. Nashville Predators have a 1-0 lead at Bridgestone Arena. 16:09 of the second period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Jones' heavy shot from out high. 16:43, Terry hits the post. Saros did get just a slight little bit of it to deflect it off towards the post. So good job there by UC Saros. 17:48, Gibson comes up with a save on Ekholm through traffic. 18:41, Gibson comes up with a save on Duchesne at the back post. Nashville Predators with a great scoring opportunity, looking for the same setup that Colton Sissons scored on just a little bit earlier in the period. We go to the intermission. The Preds are out shooting Anaheim 31-18. We're 3:55 into the third period, and UC Saros comes up with a stop on a shot that deflected off the captain, Roman Yossi, and then the captain, Roman Yossi, is able to maintain his focus and composure and clear the rebound out of harm's way. The netminder and the captain teaming up here to come up with an outstanding defensive play. We're all the way at 7:38 of the third period already, and Gibson's coming up with a save on Jankowski's long shot. 9:05, McDonough hits the post off of the rush. At 10:02, Saros comes up with a save on McTavish's long shot. 10:16, Saros comes up with a save on Terry, but at 10:39, Terry's still out there going to work, and it's his 10th goal of the season that ties his game up at one apiece. It was a wrist shot that goes off of Ekholm and then off of the glove of Saros and then trickles over the goal line and into the net in a game where the Nashville Predators offense was not getting the job done. Just one tiny little mistake, and just like that, this game is tied up at one apiece. You know UC Saros would love to have that one back, but that's not how it works at this level. 1-1 hockey game, and we move on to the third period. 12:22 of the third period, Gibson comes with a save on Parsons' deflection. 15:20, Saros a save on Lundstrom's on the 4-on-2 rush. 15:44, Saros with a save on Terry off of the rush. 18:35, Saros comes up with a 5-star save on Silverberg at the back post. His tracking edge work simply top shelf in this scenario, and he saves the Nashville Predators and gets them at least a point on home ice because we hit the end of regulation. The Nashville Predators survive the Anaheim Ducks push at the end of the third period. The Preds outshoot Anaheim in the game overall 38-34, but Anaheim goes from 18 shots on goal to 34 shots on goal here at the end of regulation. So we go to overtime, and we're 118 in, and Saros has to come up with a save on Strome's 2-on-1, 140 into the overtime. Gibson has a save on Yossi, 245. Forsberg hits the post. You can tell he was looking for the shooting angle. He found it and just could not convert. It is the captain, though, that finishes this game off with his 5th goal of the season. Matt Duchene sets it up. World-class distribution service in this game for the game-winning goal and the one-timer over there from the circle. The captain's 5th goal of the season gives the Preds a 2-1 victory in the overtime session at Bridgestone Arena. Now listen, the Anaheim Ducks are the worst team in the NHL through the first quarter of the season. They have the least amount of points, and they have absolutely been piled up on every statistical metric. It never should have been this difficult for the Nashville Predators to secure 2 points on home ice. It was ugly as hell. It might have been even uglier than that, but the Preds were able to secure the 2 points at the end of the night, and now the Preds have secured 11 of 12 points in their last 6 home games, with only the loss to Detroit coming to disrupt that points streak at this time. So the Nashville Predators do secure the victory over the worst team in the NHL, the last place team in the Pacific, the last place team in the Western Conference, and the last place team in the NHL. The Preds power play, though, simply abysmal against the worst penalty kill in the entire league. It was an opportunity for the Preds to take advantage and seize that momentum, and they were unable to do so. Gibson is an NHL quality goaltender, and he put up a really good, strong performance against the Nashville Predators tonight. And the Nashville Predators are frankly very lucky to get out of there with the extra victory point. Once it went to overtime, that's where the Anaheim Ducks thrived. That's looked like what they were trying to get to. They got to that scenario, and the Preds were able to come out on top in this one. So for the Nashville Predators, they pick up the 2 points, they pack up their bags, they go on the road, and they head on to the Northeast. That was the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We got the Renegades of Puck and full game analysis coming up next. Strong Style Fitness, incredible partner of the show right here. Please go check out their work at strongstylefit.com or on social media. Instagram is their preferred platform, but they can also be found on Facebook and Twitter. In a world that's getting ever more expensive, personal training, gym, all of those costs, maybe that's something you just simply cannot handle or afford right now, but it's something you need to keep going with your life. Well, we have alleviated that stress through our partnership with Strong Style Fitness. 150 workouts now by a certified personal trainer, uploaded to YouTube completely free to you, Renegades of Puck. Whether it's your first workout or you've been at it for years and you're just looking to get back re-engaged with your fitness journey, Tracy will help you along the way. All the workouts are self-capsulated, and she will explain everything that you need for them. Trust me, I've seen the results, I've experienced the results, and I know that you will too. Strong Style Fitness is an incredible partner here of the Renegades of Puck and has been so for over 2 years now. We sure do appreciate that. Let's start the analysis by talking about UC Saros. 34 out of 35. 15 out of 16 in the third period. It was an outstanding performance. And listen, he bobbled one and it goes in. That slight deflection off of Matthias Ekholm threw his timing with the glove off just a little bit. I know a lot of people saw that. They thought maybe that was a soft goal. You know, UC Saros wants that one back because every goaltender wants every goal they've ever given up back. But you're allowed to make a mistake at this level. Trying to be perfect at all times is not a winning formula at the NHL. The offense is out there to bail you out. The defense is out there to help bail you out. UC Saros was damn near perfect in this game, 34 out of 35, and he secures the victory in overtime, and he made a couple of just otherworldly 5-star saves in this game. This was truly one of his better overall games of the season, one of his more complete games, and he held this team in the third period when the Anaheim Ducks saw an opportunity to take advantage of the Nashville Predators being rusty from being off for a couple of days. He held them in it. Now, 8-6-2 on the season, 9-10 save percentage, 2.92 goals against average. All of those numbers starting to look a lot more respectable, but for UC Saros, you know those numbers can look even better. Let's see what he can accomplish now coming up on this next road trip. Now, want to talk about the captain, Roman Josi. Of course, the overtime game-winning goal. He's always going to get the headlines, but there's more to just having the game-winning goal. He also led the team in time on ice. That's not abnormal either. 27-24 in time on ice. Had 5 block shots, had 6 shots on goal. Both of those led in those statistical categories. The captain, Roman Josi, out there on the ice, a tower of power this entire evening, and he certainly performed big. He helped the Nashville Predators secure that extra point tonight, and that was a hell of a pretty one-timer in the overtime section. You'll be seeing that one on the highlight reel for quite some time. So good to see the captain, Roman Josi, leading his team to victory in front of UC Saros, who put up a great performance. And you have to get role players and you have to get scoring from everywhere. With the distribution of talent on the lines for John Hines now, you would expect that the goal scoring can come from virtually anywhere. And it was great to see Colton Sissons back on the score sheet. I've been critical of Colton Sissons a couple of times now in the last few episodes. I was starting to question whether he was injured. Tonight, that was an outstanding scoring play. out-bodying his defender, going to the hard area, scoring from close range, everything you expect out of Colton Sissons when he's out there on the ice. That's what earned him the nickname the Sheriff for all those years, and that's what made him one of the most reliable Nashville Predators in franchise history. It was great to see Colton Sissons back there bringing the jam and performing at that high level. I thought Colton Sissons was highly noticeable, and I thought that combination that he was on with Jeannot and Duchesne, I thought that they looked really good at times. Maybe a little bit of chemistry starting to brew there, and great for Colton Sissons. Again, I've been critical on him. Now I'm giving him the stick taps he deserves. He's earned that respect here. Matt Duchesne's world-class distribution service tonight, man, was he absolutely dealing. Both of the goals that he set up tonight, you can easily argue that it was his pass that made the goal completely happen. Matt Duchesne, I thought he looked good. I thought he had a lot of energy tonight. 16:51 total time on ice out there. He had 3 shots on net total, 2 assists. Again, I thought Matt Duchesne looked good. We've heard recently John Hines talked about how Matt Duchesne could be more effective in certain areas. It's great to see Matt Duchesne picking up 2 points. Now, 12 assists on the season, 17 points. He's lagging behind in total goals, only 5 so far through 21 games. Maybe he's going to have a hot streak coming up soon. But that was really, really nice expert passing by him tonight, and really veteran leadership by him. Trenin back. Great to see Yakov Trenin back in the lineup. 4 games without Yakov Trenin that really threw off some of the combinations. 5 shots on net for Yakov Trenin, 4 hits and only 14:09 of time on ice. I thought he was noticeable in his time out there, and he's always noticeable. He's a really solid, physical, two-way player out there on the ice. I'd like to see him generate a little bit more offense this season, but putting up 5 shots on net tonight, that's an impressive number for Yakov Trenin. Again, great to see him back in the lineup. First game back in the lineup. I would expect he'll be more himself come this weekend up on the northeastern portion of this road trip. And this, you got to point this out for the Nashville Predators. Yes, I bagged on the power play already, 0 for 2 in this game, but they didn't take a single penalty in this game, and there are some really good, fast, young, high-skilled offensive players for the Anaheim Ducks team, and at no point did the Nashville Predators get caught hooking, holding, pulling any of them down, slashing, or any of the things that the Nashville Predators have been doing in recent games to get themselves in trouble. So that was really good to look down the entire box score and the entire sheet and see that not a single Nashville Predator had a single second of shorthanded time on ice this game, so the Preds didn't take a single penalty in this game. That's outstanding effort. So the Predators, while they don't convert on the power play, they do win the special teams battle by not giving up a power play attempt against. And the Anaheim Ducks have plenty of high-skilled young players who can feast out there in power play situations. So that may have been the difference in this game. I got some analysis for you right there, and that wraps up my portion of it. I want to talk to some of the Renegades of Puck. I want to find out what they've got to say. There's been a lot going on around the Nashville Predators the last couple of days when it comes to the water main break and it comes to all the different information coming out there. There's no one better to hear from than Sean C. Smith. He's got the intel that you need to know. He's from A to Z Sports, and he's also right here on the show. You can find him on Twitter at SCSNSH. He's the one and only Sean C. Smith, and he's up right now.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades, it's Sean C. Smith, and let's talk a little bit about this 2-1 overtime win against the Anaheim Ducks. Now, I want to take a moment before I really get started to just acknowledge the fact that this was 2 points for the Nashville Predators. It was a home win, and it did come in overtime. It's good to get those 2 points. The team has been gathering points in the last few games they've been playing. They've done quite well to make the most out of these opportunities, and that's good. I think it's safe to say that this team is trending in the right direction after spending a lot of the beginning of the season trending in the wrong direction. But I do want to say this. That was a 2-1 overtime win against the Anaheim Ducks, which are in pretty heavy competition for being one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League. So let's talk about this a little bit, because we could focus on that really cool goal that Matt Duchesne set up for Colton Sissons, or we could talk about Roman Yossi's overtime goal that won the game. It looked really cool, and that's awesome, right? We could talk about that. Or I could even spend time talking about the fact that, as I've mentioned before on the show, the big thing that really takes the Predators out of contention in games is when they have to play against young, fast teams, and not necessarily the youth side of it being the big deciding factor, but the speed side of that thing. The Ducks have some young, fast players. The Predators' style of play doesn't mix well when playing against a fast team. But here's the real issue, and this is what I think we need to talk about. We're about a quarter of the way into the season at this point. The Predators are about even. I think they're, I don't know, like 10-9 and something. I don't know how many games they've lost in overtime. But here's the thing, okay? If you look at the offseason and you talk about some of the upgrades this team made, let's think. Nick Cousins is gone. Luke Cunnin is gone. And those are just some of the guys that were playing more steadily. You also have players like Ben Harper no longer with the team that a lot of people like to throw a lot of hatred his way. And in their place, you've, what I think would be, had some major upgrades. You've got Ryan McDonough out there, who's now finding his game again, playing with Roman Josi. You've got players like Mark Jankowski, who's come in and played well. Juuso Parsonen's come up from the AHL and is playing on the first line with Philip Forsberg and Mikhail Granlund. And beyond that, let's not forget that you've got Cody Glass playing minutes, and you've got several other guys that are coming in and playing roles. Cole Smith, for example, whom I've been accused recently of having a bromance with, which makes no sense to me. I think it's probably because he's getting a lot of hatred and it just isn't deserved. And I don't have a problem, sticking up for him, saying like, hey, this guy is actually doing a pretty good job. I don't know why you're complaining. Maybe you want a high-powered offensive fourth line to go out there, but you need guys like Cole Smith to go out and do what he's been doing, and he's been doing it not on the fourth line anymore, but he's playing an effective game with Ryan Johansson and Nino Niederreiter. So all that aside, the team on paper is quite a bit better than it was last season. So what's the issue? Why aren't the wins just piling up? Because the team did a good job last year. Shouldn't they be doing better now? But here's the thing. The team is playing good hockey. But you have a lot of individual players who aren't playing great hockey. The team is playing very well. Honestly, I think they've done a pretty good job of shoring up a lot of the issues they've had. The defense has gotten a little bit stouter, I think, and the offense is starting to find some scoring as they have more open ice to do it with the defense kind of doing their thing. And you also have role players going in and digging pucks out of corners to feed to your more skilled players up front. But here's the thing. Last year, the team thrived on the fact that Matt Duchene and Philip Forsberg had career years. And at the same time, Roman Josi had what many considered to be another Norris caliber season, and UC Saros having a Vezina caliber season. And I'm not going to say that it all rests on the shoulders of those four individuals, but the reality is that when those four guys have kind of come back down to earth and the rest of the team's playing good hockey, it's still not there for the team to be great. And that's where you're seeing struggle against teams like the Anaheim Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks shouldn't be a problem, but they're running into a team that's a little bit faster, and you've got guys who are playing good hockey but not great hockey. If they were playing great hockey, that would have been a bloodbath. It would have been a full-on duck hunt. But it wasn't. It was a very close game that came down to the wire, almost ran out of time in overtime, and really came down to luck in the shootout. So all this to say, the team's got to start getting some bigger contribution from key guys, or a lot of the guys on the team need to start playing great hockey. UC Saros has been incredible here lately. He may have started off the season a little bit too rough to be considered for the Vezina, but if he keeps playing the way he's been playing, he's going to make a very strong case for it. Roman Josi's heating up as well, but you have a lot of your more offensively minded players up front on the first couple of lines that aren't really getting the job done. When you see those players start to get the job done, see them start capitalizing on their chances in front of the net, then you're going to see the team, which again, let me clarify, is trending upward, continue to trend upward a little bit more. If the production drops off, or if the defense starts to slack, or God forbid UC Saros come back down to earth, you're going to see things get worse. So as we're a quarter of the way into the season, that's kind of the state of the team as far as I'm concerned. And quite frankly, I'm seeing a lot of things that are encouraging. But again, squeaking by the Anaheim Ducks at home doesn't look great. Yep, 2 points. They'll take it, I'm sure. But I think they would have liked to take those 2 points in a grander style and not let it come down to the last few minutes or the last few seconds of overtime. Charlie, I hate to be so pessimistic after a win, but that's kind of where I am right now on this Preds team. and I'm interested to see how they respond as they go out on the road. And I'm going to send it back over to you.
He's the one and only Sean C. Smith. Can't thank Sean enough for jumping in the trenches late on a Tuesday night. The trenches filling up with water, much like Bridgestone Arena did a couple of days ago when that water main broke on 6th Avenue, spilling millions and millions of gallons of water into the event level of Bridgestone Arena. You just cannot believe how much work the crew did down there at Bridgestone Arena, and they really deserve a lot of credit and a lot of respect for the efforts that they put through to be able to get a hockey game played on the ice tonight at Bridgestone. Really world-class effort. Sean C. Smith, also world-class effort by him. I always appreciate Sean. One more partner to tell you about here in Stripe Digital Solutions. The website, renegadesofpuck.com, our social media plan, our brand building, the logo on the wall behind me, the logo that we have on the jersey, our t-shirts. Well, that's what having a strong digital partner looks like. Stripe Digital Solutions has assisted me in every single one of those categories that I just listed off, and we look good. I'm going to tell you, our operation looks outstanding. Our graphics look amazing. And again, Stripe Digital Solutions, not just the visual presentation, but the strategy behind the presentation. Stripe Digital Solutions can do an awful lot to help out your organization, help your brand. And if you're not getting noticed, if you're not getting seen, then it's obvious you could use a stronger digital partner. That's where Stripe Digital Solutions comes in. Check them out today. StripeDigitalSolutions.com or social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the usual spots. Stripe Digital Solutions can help you out. Trust me, they've helped us out tremendously here in the bunker. Just running down the box score real quick before I turn it over to my man with the charts and the numbers. Colton Sissons with a goal in this game. The captain, Roman Josi, with a goal in this game. Matt Duchene, 2 assists. Granlund picks up an assist. Tanner Jeannot picks up an assist in this game. Shots on goal. Your leader was the captain, Roman Josi, followed up by Matthias Ekholm and Yakov Trenin, each with 5 hits leaders for the game. Tanner Jeannot had 5 hits in this game. Yakov Trenin had 4 hits in this game. Philip Forsberg led the forwards in total time on ice at 20-35 in time skated. And, of course, the captain, Roman Josi, led the team overall in time on ice, 27-24. He was followed up by Matthias Ekholm at 23-34 in time on ice. Matter of fact, you had 4 defensemen get over 20 minutes in this game. And UC Saros, 34 out of 35. And I thought he put together one hell of a performance overall in this game. Sometimes you make one little mistake, but at the NHL level, that's going to happen. You have to have your teammates bail you out. And that's what happened tonight for UC Saros. That takes care of the box score of things. But let's go deeper than just the numbers that are printed on the box score. Let's talk about the analytics behind it. Let's go to the Renegade Analytics desk. Let's get the charts that you need to see and the numbers you need to know from the one and only Brian Bastin. You can find him on Twitter at Brian Bastin. You can check out his work at alltheforecheck.com, and you can watch him now.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. It's good to be back in the bunker with you and the rest of the Renegades of Puck. And we've got a lot to talk about. The Nashville Predators won in overtime after a very eventful weekend for Bridgestone Arena that didn't involve any hockey at all, but their first game back after the water main that busted and flooded out the arena for a few days. Again, big kudos to the crew that worked pretty much 24/7 on getting that place ready, and from all accounts, it looked great and felt great in there, so excellent work. But the Nashville Predators did prevail over the Anaheim Ducks 2-1 in overtime with a beautiful goal from Roman Josi to end the game, and maybe just a spectacular game once again from UC Saros, who, as we said before, is started out rough but is starting to round into midseason form, going back to his regular unreal self. But what I want to talk about tonight is not necessarily one stat, but one concept. And it's a concept that I was hoping after the last couple of years with John Hines we might not have to revisit, but it looks like it might be rearing its ugly head. So let's get into the concept of turtling. Now, turtling, if you don't know, was something that, at least for me, I became familiar with that concept because it seemed to be a trademark of former coach Peter Laviolette. The Nashville Predators would get a lead, most of the time early get a lead, and this kind of shut down and the other team would take over, and a lot of times end up winning those games because, you know, Nashville Predators weren't able to wouldn't continue offensively as they were to get those goals, and so they just would kind of give up. And like we saw tonight, Anaheim just completely outworked Nashville in the third period. It wasn't really great. It wasn't exactly what you want. I mean, breaking it down by the periods, you can see Nashville at all situations by period had. Let's get that going. They had 13 shots on goal in the first, which is decent. 18 in the second, which the second seems to be kind of their strongest period, but just 7 in the third period. That was versus Anaheim's 16 in the third period. So as you can see, Nashville got that lead late in the second period and then just kind of sat back defensively. In fact, 7 of the 9 games that Nashville has won this season have been 1-goal games where they've won just by 1. And that's something that Nashville, yes, it's working right now. It seems to be sustainable for them to do the tried and true Nashville tradition of getting a couple of goals and then relying on your goaltender to take you pretty much the entire rest of the way. And we saw that again tonight. And thankfully, UC Saros was up to the task. And so that might be one of the reasons why we've seen Nashville starting to win a little bit more this year. But I want to actually dig a little bit deeper and into a pretty amazing graphic, chart that Micah Blake McCurdy, Dr. McCurdy, as you will, over on hockeyviz.com. He does great work. If you're ever interested, he's got so much stuff, even, for all levels of comprehension with analytics. He's got all kinds of stuff. So please go check that out. But let's take a look at one of my favorite things that he's got there on the site. So these are the heat maps that you see normally on this website. Now let's explain it. Your top half, all those there on the top row, when it has a plus, that means that in that condition, so for example, when the Nashville Predators are tied, they are getting a better expected goal rate than 22% above NHL average, which means they're doing a great job. They're getting a lot of shots. They're getting quality shots. You see that red right there at net front. They're doing an excellent job doing everything they can when they're tied. Now, when you look at that bottom row, that's defense, and the rules are kind of backwards. So what you want to see, the good thing is you want to see defensively that number be below 0. So again, for being tied, Nashville's actually very good. When they're tied, they allow 11.6% less shot quality from their opponent. So they're playing excellent defense. And you can see that even when they're down, again, 14% above average on offense, 5.6% below average on defense, both great. But what happens to the Nashville Predators when they get a lead? It's not good. First, we'll start with up 1. So again, when they're tied, that's 22% above average that they do offensively. Up 1, just 4.9 above average. The bigger story is defensively. Not only is this team not doing as much offensively, but defensively they become incredibly porous, which they are allowing 11.3% more expected goals against than average. So they're doing much, much worse, almost the opposite of what they do tied defensively. And you go up and you look at them being up 2 scores, and it's even worse. They're 17.7% below average on offense and 26% worse on average on defense when they have a 2-goal lead. So I'm hesitant to say that Laviolette's turtle, as you would call it, is back. But Nashville is gambling a lot. And as we saw, early in the season, and as we saw in the playoffs last year, as UC Saros goes, so does this team. If UC Saros isn't on top of his game in the majority of the games he starts for the rest of the year, the lack of scoring by the Nashville Predators and the fact that they drop defensively so much when they have the lead could spell trouble, because if UC Saros was just a league average goaltender, these 9 wins would probably be something closer to just maybe 4 or 5. And so that turtling is something that Nashville has to avoid. They're doing an excellent job creating chances and being aggressive when the game is tied, but they can't let up. They're already letting in way more defensively when they have the lead, so they need to pick up the pace on offense until they can get that defensive situation sorted out. But all that doesn't matter. All that matters right now is the numbers on the scoreboard, and Nashville, of course, they beat the Anaheim Ducks, a team you always love to beat. And they move up, and they're doing a little bit better than they were when we start the season. So we'll see if it's sustainable. And that's tonight's one big stat.
He's the one and only Brian Baston. You can find him on Twitter at Brian Baston. On theforecheck.com is where you can check out his work. He's got the charts you need to see and the numbers you need to know. And I sure do appreciate Brian jumping in the trenches on a very stormy late Tuesday night. Sure to appreciate that, Brian. Stick taps, love, and respect to you. Sure to appreciate you. Now, time to wrap this thing up. And this is the simplest statement of all. And, it's a lifted lyric from a great songwriter and a great lyricist, but Rust never sleeps. And, when Neil Young wrote that, and Neil Young said that, it was pretty obvious how significant a line that would go on to be, and it means a hell of a lot. Rust never sleeps, and it's true. What happened to the Nashville Predators tonight, they were sluggish, they were slow, they were sloppy, and they were not quite themselves. That 6-day layoff, but it wasn't just a 6-day layoff. There was also some high stress, and I know I saw some people throwing the jokes around about maybe they're still jet lagged from the trip over to Europe. Listen, what happened over the Thanksgiving break was highly unusual to happen during a season. The Nashville Predators have never had games postponed because of a water main break and because of millions of gallons of water flooding into the arena. Everything was in flux. The game was canceled early on Friday morning for Friday. Saturday's game was canceled later on Friday, and we didn't know if Tuesday's game was going to be played until late on Monday. That's a wild-ass scenario to have to live and work through for a couple of days. Now, the Nashville Predators were on the front lines of witnessing every bit of this, seeing how hard people were working at Bridgestone Arena, and all of it. It was an exhausting effort by everyone. I'm glad that the players recognized everyone from Bridgestone Arena, recognized the crew, and I'm glad that everybody understands just how much of a Herculean effort it was to get a hockey game performed at Bridgestone Arena tonight. It's going to take months of repairs over at Bridgestone Arena. There are whole offices that are going to have to be completely stripped. All of the wiring on that level is going to have to be gone through. It is a significant amount of damage that has occurred over at Bridgestone Arena, and a real Herculean task for everyone. So it's been a wild and crazy couple of days. We didn't even know when we should be doing shows, what we should be reporting. So I'm just saying, Rust never sleeps, and Rust got the best of the Nashville Predators heading into this game against the worst team in the NHL. The Preds were lucky to come away with 2 points. It's not an excuse. It was just a highly, highly unusual couple of days. It affected all of us in different ways, and I'm sure it affected each and every one of the Nashville Predators in different ways. Now, what they have to do next is come out and play one of their best games of the season against the New Jersey Devils, who are right now one of the best teams in the NHL with a huge core of amazing young talent that they have built this team around, and they have grown together, and now they are arriving right now before our very eyes, and you're going to get a chance to see and experience that for yourselves on Thursday night when the Preds go into New Jersey, and then they'll have to save some energy somehow to go in and face off against the Islanders in their barn on a Friday night. But then another 6-day layoff, and then we'll be talking about rest versus Rust all over again. But I think that'll be a different scenario. But I think that the Rust got the better of the Preds, the emotions, the strangeness of the moment. I think it got the best of not only the Predators, but maybe the best of a lot of us as we were trying to observe and figure out exactly how this was all going to play out. So that wraps it up. Operation number 681. Please support all the Renegades of Puck endeavors, all of our social media accounts. They're out there. You can find them. Renegades of Puck are everywhere. It's as easy as it is, and we sure could use your support. Every one of you that supports us, it makes the operation better. It gives us more bargaining chips. It gives us more bargaining power. It allows us to accomplish more. Every single one of you out there means something to the Renegades of Puck and to the trenches and to what we are building, what we are planning, what we are growing. With each and every one of your support, we can get to where we want to go. We are getting closer and closer every day, one Renegade at a time. We are climbing our way through the trenches, and the front lines, believe me, they are everywhere, and they have expanded more and more over the last few weeks, and more people are hearing and listening and watching than have ever been before. And we have to thank Full Press Predators coverage for that. That's right. The Full Press Preds podcast is how you can also find us out there in the Full Press coverage NHL world. Stick taps, love, and respect to each and every one of you. We appreciate all of you for how hard you are working and for how much you are supporting each and every one of us. Hope you stayed safe through all those storms on this Tuesday night. We'll be back Thursday night after the New Jersey game. We'll be wrapping it up, recapping it, previewing everything that happens with the New York Islanders game coming up the next day. For each and every one of the Renegades of Puck, man, I sure do appreciate each and every one of you. I'm your host and captain, Captain Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect.